Hey everyone, it's Curtis from Black Heroes. Now, I think it's safe to say that Naruto is one of the best and most influential anime of all time. And one of the reasons for this legendary status is the fights. I still go back and watch Rock Lee vs. Gaara and still get chills. This show has blessed us with some of the most hype and emotional fights you will ever see in the genre. But this video is about the fights we didn't get to see. The fights on this list were teased in the show, but for whatever reason never went down. Now, this won't be a full breakdown on how the fights will go. I might give an educated guess on who I think would win, or in Deadpool's case,
no, I made an educated wish!
So here is 5 Naruto fights I wish I got to see. First on the list is Sasuke vs. Neji, Sharingan vs. Byakugan. Now this fight arguably is the first fight teased at the start of the tuning exams. The moment we saw,
"How old are you anyway?" "I'm not obliged to answer." What?
Our minds started to daydream about how this fight would go down. Once upon a time, the Byakugan was just as hyped as the Sharingan, and in many cases may have been better. So this would have been an epic confrontation. Because not only did they tease this fight at the beginning of the tuning exams, they teased it again during the Forest of Death part. This fight should have went down during the finals of the exam, and I see it ending in 2 different ways. If Sasuke doesn't use the power of the curse mark, then Neji wins. If he does, then Sasuke got it. But this fight definitely would have stole the show during this part of the exams. Sticking with Neji, the next fight on my list is Neji versus Rock Lee. It is criminal that this fight never happened. Sasuke versus Neji was teased, but this fight was Lee's motivation at the start of the tuning exam. Neji used to bully the fuck out of Lee back in the day.
The sad fact is, you'll never beat me. No matter how hard you work. No matter how many times you try. That is not true, and you know it!
Pretty much the same thing he said to Hinata: no matter how hard you work, you will always be a failure. So Lee had good reasons to want to throw hands with Neji. Remember when he said,
"The loser beating the gifted genius through sheer willpower"?
He wasn't referring to Naruto, he was talking about himself. Look, I mentioned Lee vs. Gaara earlier. That fight is in the history books, but from a story perspective, it should have been Neji. I still remember seeing Neji's reaction to Lee during this fight with Gaara.
Is that really Lee? But when? How?
It would have been a cool thing to see Lee try to earn Neji's respect during their fight. Now, do I think Lee would win?
Nope.
I would still give it to Neji, but by the skin of his teeth. But Neji would have had no choice but to acknowledge Lee. Third fight on my list, Rock Lee versus Sasuke. As you can see, I really wanted to see a fight with some combination of the 3. Now, technically this fight did happen at the start of the tuning exams, but it really wasn't much of a fight. Lee completely outclassed Sasuke during that confrontation. Sasuke is my boy, but man, the disrespect this man took throughout all of Naruto. What I wanted to see was a rematch in Shippuden, and I feel like the beginning of Shippuden would have been a great chance for this fight to happen. It could have happened sometime after his confrontation with Team 7, and I know that was supposed to be his big showcase of what he can do now, but I feel like it would have been an even better showcase for Sasuke to run the ones with the person who whooped his ass at the beginning. It would have been a cool Uno reverse card to see Sasuke talking down on Lee this time. Lee having to push past his limits just to stand a chance. Obviously Sasuke will win this one, but this would have been a great showcase for Lee, cause unfortunately Lee never reached the same heights he did when he fought Gaara. This could have been his big thing in Shippuden, and screw them for putting like 5 seconds of what their fight would look like in that Rock Lee special. Now finally a fight that doesn't involve those 3, and that is Orochimaru versus Jiraiya. Now I know we got a sample of that during the Tsunade arc, but that was more so a handicap match with all 3 signing. What I wanted to see was a true 1v1 between Orochimaru and Jiraiya. I think the perfect time to see this fight would have been a flashback right after the Sasuke retrieval arc. We already saw Jiraiya try and convince Orochimaru not to abandon the village, but they really didn't throw down. But what if he came across Orochimaru again, but this time does everything in his power to either bring Orochimaru back or stop him once and for all? Then boom, we have one of the most epic clashes in the whole series. Now I can see this fight playing out in 2 different ways. Now personally, I think Jiraiya is the stronger of the 2, so I can see him straight up winning, but can't bring himself to kill Orochimaru, and in that hesitation, Orochimaru escapes. Or you can have it in that hesitation, Orochimaru gets one more attack off, then he's standing tall, but then afterwards he collapses. Then we can get a parallel shot of the end of Naruto versus Sasuke. Then we can cut to Naruto in the hospital, and that's where Jiraiya tells tells him that he needs to give up on Sasuke. And I think his words would carry more weight because now we genuinely saw him try to bring Orochimaru back and he failed. Seeing Jiraiya and Orochimaru go all out in their prime would have been amazing. We might could have seen Sage Mode way before Shippuden. If they ever did a prequel series, they should find a way to make this fight happen. Now the last fight I want to talk about had no teases or setup in the show. This is genuinely a dream match of mine that you could possibly write into the story, and that is Itachi versus Pain, arguably the two strongest members of the Akatsuki outside of Obito. This fight would have broke the internet. Pain was considered the final boss for a long time, and there are people out there that still think Itachi could 1v1 Madara. This fight would have been
sensational.
Story-wise, this fight couldn't happen. The only way this could happen if maybe Itachi sparred with the main Pain when he joined the Akatsuki and they wouldn't go all out, or if Pain somehow found out that Itachi was a double agent and then goes to confront him, and that would have changed the story too much. But hey, all the filler Naruto has, some of that filler could have been used to make this fight. If it was filler, you wouldn't even need a reason. You could just let these two go all out. I would have enjoyed every single second of it. I think Pain would get the W in the end, especially if all 6 bodies were used. I think Pain would eventually overwhelm Itachi. Now Itachi would definitely take some of the Pains down. I don't think it's a stretch to say he would at least take down 3 or 4, but sadly he's not clearing all 6.
This world shall know pain.
But those are 5 fights I wish I got to see in Naruto. When you really think about it, there is a bunch of fights that we could have seen. From fights that were teased and never happened to straight up dream matches. You know what, I'm gonna give you guys a quick bonus one, because I really want to talk about it. And that's Tenten versus literally any other Kinoichi during the 3rd part of the tuning exam. Look, we all know the meme about Tenten and the screen time she got in Naruto.
Oh my goodness!
And within that minimum screen time, she only really had 1 fight, and that was against Tamari, and we kind of all know what happened. But I genuinely feel she went up against any other Kinoichi, she would have had such a better showcase. She would have beaten both Ino and Sakura. She's probably beating Hinata. Honestly, outside of Gaara and maybe Shino, she probably would have had a better showcase against literally anyone else. Without a good defense, she wasn't stopping all those weapons. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Saying Tenten was done dirty is like saying water is wet. But if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for sticking around. And comment below some of the fights you would have liked to have seen in Naruto. I would love to see other people's matchups. But alright y'all, it's been your boy Curtis from Black Heroes, and I'm out. Peace!
With my leaves, ain't no place I'd rather be at. Swag it out, OG, it's all on the tee, yeah. Hokage level battle, bitch, I'm undefeated. I got this forbidden jutsu, but I won't be, yeah. With my leaves, ain't no place I'd rather be at. Swag it out, OG, it's all on